Hello and welcome to Seasonal Job Pro. On this channel, we talk about anything and everything that is seasonal jobs. Today's video is part one of a two-part series that is the pros and cons of seasonal jobs. Is it a series if it's only two parts? We'll never know! Now, it's important to note that some of these pros might be cons for you, and some of the cons might be pros to somebody else. Get it? It's up to you to decide on how you feel about it. I believe in you. Now let's get to work. Top 10 pros of seasonal jobs. Number 10. The USA. On this channel, when we talk about seasonal work, we are almost entirely referring to the US 50 states, home of the brave and land of truck nuts? And this means assuming you are legally eligible to work in the country, you do not need a visa or a passport to travel to and work in any state in the Union. So, while I highly recommend getting a passport if you don't have one, you don't need one. That includes Hawaii and Alaska. And some people were wondering about that. That also means aside from Hawaii and various other small islands or ultra-remote places, you could drive your own vehicle to your new job and have it there to use, which is very handy for getting out and exploring or just getting groceries, and will probably make you very popular with your coworkers. Perhaps too popular. Note, to drive to Alaska through Canada, you do need a passport. Also, you cannot drive to Hawaii. You just won't make it. Number 9. Paid transportation. Now, this one doesn't happen all the time, but it does come up occasionally, so it's worth mentioning. Some companies are in such need of staff that they may in fact pay for you to get there and to get home when the season is over. They may buy your plane tickets, or bus, or train travel. This almost always comes with the caveat that you complete your agreed upon contract, and of course you do your job. Also, it's important to note that the travel is from what's known as the point of hire, not from your hometown, most likely. Number 8. The outdoors. The seasonal job industry is by nature riddled with outdoor jobs, like deckhanding on a boat that's tooling around Crater Lake National Park, or outdoor adjacent jobs, like selling the tickets to go on said boat. Many seasonal positions will certainly give you the opportunity to spend time outside, hiking, camping, exploring. So if you like fresh air and sunshine, or fresh air and torrential rain, or fresh air and snow, there's a good chance you'll be able to find all the time you need to get outside. Just don't forget to go to work. Number 7. New friends. Whether it's over a few after-shifters after turning over 100 covers in a night, or hanging out by a bonfire when all the campers have gone to bed, or just the fact that you're sharing a house with 6 other people for a few months, there's a good chance you will find, amongst your crew, some like-minded individuals that you will enjoy spending your time with. And let's hope, because you'll probably be spending a lot of time with these people. There is indeed a sense of camaraderie that comes with being part of a team, working and living in close quarters, and friendships are inevitably forged. You may only work a single season with someone that becomes your brother from another mother, or your sister from another mister, and you keep in contact with them for years to come. You may even get a call later on down the line from a friend you met offering you some other cool seasonal job. And if you don't make any friends at all, well, perhaps that's a chance for you to take a long, deep look inside and reflect. Number 6. New skills and paid training. While many seasonal jobs may not need a whole lot of special training, some will very much require it. Let's say you want to spend the season riding rivers as a rafting guide, you will need to have a certification in swiftwater rescue. Or being a lifeguard at a summer camp, you will need at least a basic lifeguard certification. And to drive a tour bus or a passenger van, you may need a commercial driver's license of some level. Much of the time, these trainings and certifications are required by law, or at least insurance purposes. But some companies just want their staff to be as good as they can be and offer training to help them to be just that. For instance, 49th State Brewing Company in Alaska in the past has put some of their waitstaff through the first stage of the Cicerone program. This educates them on the fine intricacies of beer, which in turn can help them to be more knowledgeable about the products and ultimately better at their jobs. Of course, emergency rescue and life-saving courses are quite a bit more intense than beer tasting. Often these courses are provided by the company before the season starts. Sometimes they are paid for by the company. Sometimes you need to show up fully trained, certification in hand. But since most of these certifications do last more than a few years, if you decide that after a season with that company, you want to check out a different company or a different state altogether, you've already got a leg up on the competition. And that's a perfect segue to number 5, work experience. If you are fresh out of or still in school, or you've taken a long work break and may be considering changing careers, seasonal jobs are a great way to build up that resume or pad that college application. So let's say you're interested in pursuing a career in childhood development or recreation. Spending your summers as a camp counselor, while it doesn't usually pay that well, looks pretty good on your resume. It shows that you spent 24 hours a day with small humans that may, on occasion, eat things that come out of their noses. And not once did you resort to a, well, when in Rome attitude. That probably looks pretty good on paper. Or spending extensive time building trails in remote areas of a national forest, which not only creates a positive impact on the environment and your sense of well-being, it could very well have a positive impact on your resume. Hospitality, outdoor recreation, sports, or IT, all industries where you can build a foundation through seasonal work. Number 4, saving money and bonuses. It's well documented that the clan Wu-Tang from the American Northeast once stated through rhythm and poetry, "Cash rules everything around me." And of course that harkens back to the reason why most people have jobs. As the poem continues, dollar, dollar bill, y'all. You want to get paid. And seasonal jobs are a good way to get paid and save that money. If you can find yourself in a job that pays well, has free or discounted housing, perhaps even with some or all meals included, and have the self-resolve not to go spending your earnings all season long, or you're in a location where there actually is nowhere to spend your paychecks, that's a pretty good equation for saving. Now, having all of those variables line up exactly like that is probably more rare than not. But if your main goal is solely to make and save some cash, it is very doable in the seasonal job industry. In fact, some jobs even offer bonuses for simply finishing out the season. These bonuses can come in different forms. Some places may give you back the rent you paid for your housing, or add an extra amount to your hourly pay paid at the end of the season. So, say they add $1 per hour worked in a lump sum check at the end of your contract. Meaning you worked 40 hours a week. For 16 weeks, you could get a $640 bonus check. And some may just give you a set amount at the end of the season. An extra $500 or $1,000 check before leaving is pretty nice to walk away with. Don't just expect a bonus, though. You'll want to be sure that's something the company offers before signing on with them, if that's important to you. And they'll usually state this in the job listing. And number 3, I'm calling moving on up. If you find a company that you really enjoyed working for and they liked having you there, returning for a second or multiple seasons benefits both parties. For the employer, they typically won't have to train you again, and you already know how their program operates. There's a good chance you could get a pay raise, or they could offer you a position further up the totem pole. And you'll already know your way around. Maybe you know how to grab the best housing, or where the secret trails or hangout spots are. Or maybe you'll just do a better job of packing and not bring those big clunky rain boots you didn't even use last season. Or especially, you know which bathroom to avoid. Number 2. Short term. Seasonal jobs are by definition short term, making them ideal for students and teachers to fill the summer break with a fun source of supplemental income. Not to mention retirees. Seasonal jobs aren't just for young bones. Globe-trotting backpackers often work seasonal jobs for 6 months and spend the year surfing in Indonesia or exploring South America. And one of the best parts of the seasonal job industry is that if you don't like the company that you worked for some reason, you don't have to go back. When you're done, you're done. You may have even discovered a different job or company you'd rather work with, and then you can get in with them next season. Okay, and we are now at number 1. The perks. The word perk comes from the word perquisite, which is fun to say. Perquisite, which can be defined as an advantage or something extra, such as goods or money that you are given because of your job. Perquisite. Now, in the 9-to-5 world, that could be a company car, or a phone, or a tablet, or something like that. I think most of us know what perks means. Perquisite. But the perks I would usually associate with seasonal work are more often directly linked with the type of services you are working around, right? So, for instance, one of the major draws for working a winter season at a ski resort is that employees almost always get to ski or ride for free. That means you can spend the entirety of your free time on the mountain. Perquisite. For some, that is in itself reason enough to work there. Or if you are working on a ranch with horses, you can probably ride as often as you like, assuming you are qualified to do so. If hiking is your thing and you are somewhere like, say, the Grand Canyon, anytime you are not clocked in, you can go hit the trails. Scuba diving, kayaking, etc. Perquisite. Discounted and especially free housing is definitely also a plus. If a restaurant is part of the company you work for, discounted meals are indeed a perquisite. In some of the towns that have a lot of different operations going on, many of the companies will share the perks. So if you are a housekeeper for company A and you want to go on a rafting trip with company B, there might be a friendly agreement between companies that will allow you to go jump on a raft with company B at little or most likely no charge. This is very common. And then there is the overall location. Some people might think that the experience of waking up next to a river in Alaska or on the beach in Florida every day is a perk in itself. Later, we'll dive deeper into the perks of specific locations and specific companies, but it's something to keep in mind when deciding on where or who you want to work for. So that's just some of the upsides to seasonal jobs. Like I said, you personally may not think some of these are more negatives than positives, and if you agree with my list or think I left something out, leave it in the comments below. I'd love to hear about your experiences as a seasonal job pro. And don't forget to subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. Perquisite.